Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, I am so excited to record this video for you all. Will my boy Mehdi Taremi make history not only for Inter, not only for Asian football, but for the Iranian national team? Because it could happen, and I'm excited about it, and I bet all of you are excited about it. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about all the stuff that has been going on since my last video where I talked about Taremi, Inter, is he doing good? Is he doing bad? So pretty much talking about his situation since then, the recent Champions League match between Inter and Barcelona that saw Mehdi Taremi help Inter go to the Champions League final and what that means, then the history he can make by winning the Champions League with Inter, and then finishing off with talking about what I think should happen for him going into next season with Inter. Should he stay? Should he go? All of that. You'll just have to stick around to the end to find out what I have to say about that. This video is about to be a banger. So boys and girls, if you're a big fan of Asian football, but more specifically the Iranian national team, this is the channel that you need to be at, so make sure to subscribe. And I don't always put like targets on videos, but I thought, why not for a special occasion like this? Let's hit a like target of over like 50 likes on this video. So when it comes to talking about Taremi, Inter, it has not gone well to say the least. And am I happy about it? Have I put a lot of talk about it on the interwebs? Yes. It has been very much down, then up. He hasn't gotten that much game time, but when he has looked fairly out of place. He has been dogged on quite a bit. Do I think the criticism that he is getting from all over the place, from Inter fans, reporters, warranted? Absolutely not. But am I saying he has played well? Of course, I'm not saying that either. He has had a handful of good performances for Inter so far this season. You think about the Champions League match against Red Star. You think about that Super Coppa Italia final against AC Milan. And I will say this, and I'll die on this hill. If they won that match, Mehdi got man of the match, I think that would have done a world for his confidence, would have really brought Inter fans on his side. We wouldn't be in these treacherous waters right now where anything he does, he touches the ball, he looks at the sky, Inter fans are constantly tweeting about him and how horrible he is. I think it would have changed the perspective of him at this club. But after those couple of good performances, he has now gone through a long stretch of not much game time, dealing with this groin injury, and just not playing at his best, on top of just getting absolutely shit on the internet. Again, I'll be the first to admit it. Things have not gone well for Taremi at Inter. There is no denying that. But do I think it is his fault whenever he plays and Inter doesn't win or doesn't get the result that they want? No, it is absolutely not all his fault. And in my opinion, he has become the biggest scapegoat for this fan base. And it doesn't help when a reporter like this guy absolutely dogs on him any opportunity he can get. And the worst part about all of this is he is Iranian. Instead of trying to shed a good light to help Iranian football, he just adds more fuel to the fire with all the Inter fans that are already going in on him just so he can get a few extra likes and act like the cool kid in school. But the thing is, if people put all this bullshit aside, he has been dealing with a very serious groin injury. But instead of not playing, whimpering, knowing the team needs his help because Martinez and Thuram have both been dealing with injuries, and he knows he needs to step up to help this team that was on course to win a treble and is still on course to win a double in a Scudetto and a Champions League. He's going to take painkillers. He's going to fight through the pain. He's going to be a team player, even though he may not be bagging the goals, which, yeah, he's a striker, so he does need to bag goals. But it's not like Inter's tactics help create a lot of opportunities for him to score. They hardly create any clear-cut chances for him, and he just works on scraps. Poor guy is getting dogged on like he was a record-breaking transfer when in reality he was just a free transfer. I get it. He's coming in with a bit of expectation. Inter fans knew from last season on they needed a proper backup to Martinez and Thuram, and we've seen that throughout this season. Both of them have not been able to stay healthy at the same time, or one is in really good form, one is in really bad form, so we haven't really been able to see that dynamic duo play at their best, both together. As us Iranians love to wax lyrical about on the internet, Taremi came in with pedigree. He's a guy who had a pretty good World Cup, who is one of Porto's all-time leading goal scorers, so there was going to be that expectation, and I don't blame Inter fans for that. But analyze the whole chessboard, and I don't think dogging on him, making him the scapegoat on the internet is going to help his confidence, because you can tell his confidence has been a bit shot throughout this season. But the biggest part about all of this is he has persevered, and that is the one biggest thing I talked about when it came to Mehdi Taremi coming to Inter. He's not a guy that backs backs down. Even though there are various reports that may or may not be true, that at the end of the season, Inter will maybe look to offload him, which I don't think will be the case, and I'll talk about that later on in the video. He has still been able to be a reliable player for Inter up top. He has been able to play Inzaghi's system, be the second striker that he wants from him, and that is why he still gets game time. And I think a lot of this culminated to that tie against Barcelona in the Champions League semifinal. In the first leg, Martinez got hurt, so Taremi had to come in for the second half and do a job, and he played a good part there. Again, was a team player, did what he had to do to help the team bring it back to the second leg at the San Siro. But in leg 2, that is where the whole narrative changed quite a bit for him. In that second leg, he came on and he played a huge part in helping the team win that tie. In extra time, he was an absolute dog, getting the game-winning assists. And on top of that, absolutely pocketed Lamine Yamal, who was terrorizing Inter throughout that whole match. The defenders couldn't do it. The midfielders couldn't do it. In comes Mehdi Taremi, the goddamn striker, tackled him not once, not twice, but 3 or 4 times throughout that extra time period. He had him in his goddamn pocket. Stellar performance by him throughout the tie against Barcelona. Definitely helped win back a lot of fans. So he is building that confidence back up, and I think that's really good. And with the team still accumulating injuries here and there, Martinez is still not 100%. This could be a huge opportunity for Taremi to right all the wrongs from this season from everyone that is absolutely shitting on him all over the internet. From the narrative that he's not a good enough striker, he can't cut it at Inter. If he just comes out with one big game, scores a couple of goals to help Inter somehow clinch the Scudetto title, to help Inter win the Champions League, it would be huge. And I think that would be the best way for him to lead off going into next season. But when it comes to the Champions League, before I get into next season, with this accomplishment where Mehdi Taremi has helped Inter get to the Champions League final, he's the second ever Iranian to be a part of a team that is playing in a Champions League final. The first one was Ali Daei back in 1999 with Bayern Munich. But in this final, this is why it's so crucial for him to be fit going into the final, because if he makes an appearance, being it he starts or comes off the bench, he would be the first ever Iranian to play in a Champions League final, because Ali Daei didn't play at all in that 99 final for Bayern Munich. So he would be the first ever one. Let's say if he scores, which I'll be in absolute tears if that happens, he would be the first ever Asian footballer to score in a Champions League final. And then obviously the cherry on top, the creme de la creme, the thing that I care about the absolute most, is if Inter wins the Champions League, he is the first ever Iranian, the second ever Asian footballer to win the UEFA Champions League. And I'll say this, if he wins the Champions League with Inter, I think he is the greatest ever Iranian footballer. And talking about next season, Fabrizio Romano has already confirmed that Correa and Arnautovic are already out of the picture for Inter. They're going to be offloaded. So I think that already is a really good sign for Taremi next season. I think from everything I've seen from reporters and from Taremi's camp, he will probably stay at Inter. And I think that is the right choice. I know that might be a little bit controversial, but just let me cook for a second. As I said, he's been dealing with an injury all season. I think let him have that rest. He's gone those first season jitters out the way. Maybe has 1 or 2 trophies in his back pocket, was a part of success for this club. We'll give him a fresh outlook for next season, and he will be able to play free. Doesn't have to worry about he's the new kid on the block for the team. He has to go above and beyond because he has to prove himself as the new signing. I think he can succeed at Inter, and I think he will, because I think, quote me, don't quote me, I might look like an absolute mug come the end of the season if this doesn't pan out. I think he will play a big part in Inter winning 1 or 2 trophies by the end of this season. I mean, I've been so confident in Inter winning the Champions League. I put money down at the start of the season that they will win it. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is. There is the other possibility that he may leave. I'm not 100% ruling it out, but I think there is like that 20% chance that that could happen. And as long as he stays in a top 5 league and goes to a good team that is playing in the Champions League and is the main striker, I think that's fine as well. And I think the most enticing part about maybe moving away from Inter is if a club can offer him, like what Porto did, to be the main guy for them on a consistent basis. I understand if he wants to take that type of avenue, but I think him staying at Inter is the best option. We have seen, even though he's not an out-and-out starter, he has had his struggles. I think it builds a lot of character for a footballer. We have seen it as translated at national team level. Even though he's not playing his best this year, he has shown up for Iran in the biggest moments throughout qualifying, playing with and competing against some of the best players in the world, playing in the best competitions in the world, breeds a top quality footballer, and that's what he is. I think staying at Inter, winning accolades that no other Iranian has won, and then getting goals under his belt with a fresh start next season will be the best thing for him. But the most important thing of all of this is he needs to start scoring goals. That is the one criticism that I will give all you Inter fans. He does need to get goals. He's a striker. That's the reality to things. So that is definitely my biggest criticism, but I'm confident that he will get those goals. He's building his confidence back up. Once he gets that one goal, I think the rest will be history. But boys and girls, my opinion only matters so much. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Do you guys agree with the points I talked about? Disagree with some of the points I talked about? Let me know your thoughts. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to check out this video next, where I ranked the Iranian national team kits, and then make sure to subscribe right here as I post content weekly on the channel. So boys and girls, I hope you'll have a lovely day.